So I haven't done a post-game video in the last 2 games, mainly because my recent videos have been centered more around all the recent trades. And of course, if you guys missed those videos, feel free to check them out as far as my thoughts and reaction to all the trades and the fact that the Bulls flipped more than half of their roster. But in those videos, I was pretty vocal about my displeasure for the trades that were made, how I felt some of the players they brought in did not make sense. It was a hodgepodge collection of players thrown together as an audition to see who fits for the rest of the season. And while I'm still of that opinion, what I will say though is I have been pleasantly surprised by what I've seen from this new look Bulls team thus far, especially when you consider the fact that they've been without Josh Giddey, Tre Jones, and then of course in tonight's game, no Jalen Smith. They have been better than I've expected. They actually bring more energy than I thought they would. Like, the vibes are there in the early going with this crew. I know they completely bombed in the fourth quarter of this game, which I'll get to, but they've got good vibes in how they play together and feeding off each other's energy. And I've got to give it to Collin Sexton first and foremost. You know, I was never high on Sexton, even when he first was drafted in the league. He was in the draft in 2018 when the Bulls had the number 7 pick, and he was on the board when the Bulls were on the clock, and I was praying they would not take Collin Sexton. Not that I really wanted Wendell Carter Jr. either, but I was much preferring him over Sexton. And then everywhere he went thereafter, every team he played for, I was just like, man, this guy is an empty stats player, which, don't get me wrong, still might end up being the case. But seeing him in this first game, his Bulls debut, I was loving the passion and fight he was bringing. Driving it to the basket, getting the M1, pounding his chest, shouting and getting the crowd involved, clapping his hands and screaming after forcing turnovers. I love stuff like that. I love players that bring that kind of energy. His defensive effort, by the way, was better than I thought. He did a good job at tucking under screens, getting in front of his man without fouling. Shot selection, not the best, and he didn't shoot well. 6 for 14, 1 for 5 from 3, also 4 turnovers. So yeah, that's probably why I was always a bit down on this guy, but give me that passion. Give me that effort and excitement when you play, and you'll be one of my favorites. Rob Dillingham's first game in a Bulls uniform was also solid. Yet another one that I haven't been high on and was disappointed in the Bulls getting such little for Ayo in that trade when he's having the best season of his career. I still have my doubts about Dillingham, mainly because of his size and lack of defense, but he's got really great handles, better than most guys on this team. He's got a great quick first step in driving to the basket, and he's quick about getting the ball up ahead in transition. I think the main thing for me is, when it comes to the Bulls, they're going to need to find minutes whenever Josh Giddey and Tre Jones do come back. You've got to find him minutes to see what he can do and see if he can be a piece that you can work with as part of your future. Only 21 years old, lottery pick in 2024. You're not competing for anything this year. In fact, you're trying to lose. Give him some run and see what he can do in these final 29 games. We also got to see Nick Richards for the first time since the trade, and man, I forgot what it was like to have a lob threat on your team. I mean, I know Modest can get up for lobs, but he's not going to be operating the pick and roll or in the post like Richards would be. And to see lobs being thrown up for Richards, whether it was from Sexton or Dillingham, was a thing of beauty. And then hopefully you're going to see that a lot from Giddey once he returns. It was just a refreshing sight to see an actual center that can catch and throw down lobs, because that just has not been the case for the Bulls all these years with Nikola Vucevic. Solid game from Richards. 15 points, 7 boards, a steal and a block, hit a 3, which was only the second 3 of his entire NBA career. Solid showing from him in his first game with the Bulls. Yabu got all of his points from the 3-point line. He went 4 for 10 from 3, didn't score it all inside. I died laughing when Stacey King started using the Yabba Dabba Doo after he was heating up from 3. Modest had a team high 21 points, efficient shooting, going 7 for 13, 4 for 8 from 3, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Love seeing those rebound numbers continuing to go up. For me, the rest of the season is all about Modest and his development. Like, yes, it's other things, see what you have with Dillingham, see what you can get out of Jaden Ivey, but everything should be prioritized around Modest Buzelis at this point. He's got to tighten those handles. He's got to bulken up a bit so he can be more physical inside and get to the rim at ease. These final games of the season, I'm keeping a close eye on Modest. Let him make mistakes, and he certainly had some in this game, especially some of the missed defensive assignments that just cannot happen in NBA games, but this is where he needs to learn and take his game to the next level. Now, as far as what happened in this game, I was shocked the Bulls were in this, and they were in it and so competitive through the first 3 quarters of the game, because it's not like this was the zombie Nuggets team without Jokic, Murray, Brown, and Cam Johnson. They all played. They've just been without Aaron Gordon. The Bulls dictated the pace of play. They made the Nuggets play fast. They got up more shots than the Nuggets did, believe it or not. Bulls had 12 offensive rebounds to the Nuggets 11, even though I'm surprised by that because watching the game, it seemed like the Nuggets were outworking the Bulls on the offensive glass and getting a ton of second chance points. The Bulls were efficient on offense, were lights out from three, but then the fourth quarter rolled around and the tank started. Nuggets got off to that 12-0 run. I believe they then went on a 20-2 run. At one point, they had outscored the Bulls 30-8 in the fourth quarter, and you knew it was over at that point. I mean, let's be real. Even though the Bulls were playing well and had a 6-point lead going into the fourth quarter, you knew this Nuggets team, led by Jokic, they weren't going to lose this. That would be a very bad loss against an entirely revamped Chicago Bulls team that is now on a path of tanking. And yeah, the Bulls couldn't hit shots, made some sloppy turnovers. They started to look more like a team that hasn't meshed and gelled together yet, which is to be expected. Bulls defense too, which we knew wasn't going to be great, but man, some of those blow-bys, the wide open layups after a missed cutter, yeah, that's a problem and is going to continue to be a problem for the rest of the season because the Bulls simply put don't have defenders. They didn't have much before, then you traded away one of your better ones in Ayo. You've got Okoro now, and that's about it. I don't even consider Patrick Williams a good defender anymore because he's been so lackadaisical on that end of the floor sometimes and looks lost when he's playing off the ball that I can't even consider him a noteworthy defender at this point. So yeah, it's going to be rough watching this team defensively for the rest of the season. It's very possible they could finish 30th on defense for the rest of the year from here on out. But yeah, on offense, they've been better than I've expected. And I have been impressed by what I've seen from the new additions. Still early, need a bigger sample size, but I'm liking the vibes and the early going. Anyway, only 2 more games before the All-Star break. They've got the Nets on Monday, maybe a chance for a win as the Nets have been pretty bad recently. And then the Celtics, your first look at Vucevic since being traded. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.